Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Returning Arsenal star praises key figure who was very supportive during lengthy injury. Jurrien Timber is back for Arsenal this preseason after last season's nightmare injury that saw him miss almost the entire campaign for his new club. The Dutch defender joined the Gunners from Ajax in what looked like being a superb signing by Mikel Arteta last summer, but he picked up a bad injury on his Premier League debut against Nottingham Forest. Timber didn't return until the very final league game of the season, coming on as a substitute against Everton, meaning he made just 3 appearances in all competitions in total. This will have been a huge blow for Timber, but speaking about it with the reporters, the 23-year-old made it clear just how much he tried to focus on the positives. Arsenal fans will be delighted with Timber's attitude, as he doesn't seem to have spent time feeling sorry for himself and is now ready to get back in action for the North London Giants. Timber was also quick to praise Arsenal manager Arteta for being so supportive to him since he joined, and especially so while he was out injured. He said, "Yeah, it was a big blow, but I tried to look at it in a positive way. I feel good. It's a year later. Time goes quick. I enjoy my time here and I'm excited to go again. I moved to Arsenal, so you have to look at how lucky you are. That's the way I looked at it last year. I had some time to work with some fantastic physios. It's never fun to be injured, but I tried to make the best out of it. From the start, Arteta was very supportive during my injury as well, so it helps to have a manager like him." Arteta gives hopeful but worrying update on Tomiyasu's latest injury. Mikel Arteta may have just provided a hopeful injury report regarding Takehiro Tomiyasu. Over the weekend, it emerged that Tomiyasu will not be in Arsenal's preseason tour of the United States. Apparently, due to any injury, the Japanese international will continue preparing for next season at Arsenal's Sobha Realty Training Center, Colney, as he continues his rehabilitation. The injury update on Tomiyasu had many annexes, with some advocating for him to be sold, but Mikel Arteta has provided an encouraging update on Tommy. The Spaniard intimated that the injury could be not serious, but they didn't want to take any chances, so they decided to keep the defender behind and watch him as a precaution. Arteta said the following: "It's unbelievable because the kid works so hard. He had an incident in a training this week, and we don't know the extent of that knee injury yet, but as a precaution, we kept him in London. We'll see what happens." The injury is another setback for Tomiyasu, who had begun to establish himself in Arteta's starting lineup at left back. Afet Tomiyasu, who can play anywhere on the back line, is an advantage since he can cover for any defender. Surely he will miss much, as Arteta will be devising new tactics for next season in a preseason. Even so, as Arteta maintains his absence from the USA tour was simply an injury precaution, and so hopefully by the start of the season, he will be back fit and in contention for a spot in Arteta's lineup, as that's all that matters. Surely Arsenal are better off with Tomiyasu 100%. Arsenal would ideally like to keep this player despite transfer interest, says expert. Arsenal would ideally like to keep Emil Smith-Rowe, according to Gunners expert Charles Watts in his latest exclusive column for the Daily Briefing. Speaking to Count Offside for this week's column, Watts said the following: "There has been a bid from Fulham for Smith-Rowe, but that has been rejected. A second bid is expected, but Crystal Palace are also expected to make an offer soon, having made their interest in the playmaker known. In an ideal world, Mikel Arteta would keep Smith-Rowe. This time last year, he made it clear that he would not be sold, and I think his stance would be the same this time around if it was just down to a footballing decision. But Smith-Rowe now has just 2 years left on his contract and has a strong desire to be playing regular football, having sat on the bench for much of the last 2 seasons. So Arsenal would reluctantly let him leave should a good offer arrive from Fulham, Palace or anyone else. but at the moment that offer has not arrived, and that is why Smith Rowe has flown with the squad to the United States. It's certainly not a case that Arsenal will be forcing him out of the door. Arsenal's imminent signing will be scary for the rest of the Premier League. Arsenal expert Charles Watts has heaped praise onto the Gunners for their patient approach over the incoming signing of Riccardo Calafiori. He said the following: "You just have to look at when they signed Martin Odegaard on a permanent basis from Real Madrid in 2021 as a prime example of that. They were made to wait all summer by Madrid and could easily have grown frustrated and moved on to other targets, but they were happy to play the waiting game because Mikel Arteta and Edu were convinced Odegaard was a player who could take the team to the next level, and they have been rewarded for that patience. They have not had to wait as long for Calafiori as they did for Odegaard, and I don't think they were ever worried that the deal would not get done. It feels like talks with Bologna have gone relatively well. It's the massive sell-on fee that Basel will be due for the deal that has made things a bit tricky. I think it's a really exciting signing for Arsenal. Left back was one of the two positions in the team last season where there was no real consistency. Arteta was having to mix and match throughout the season with the likes of Zinchenko, Tomiyasu, and Jakub Kivior all filling in there. When you look at Calafiori and where his strengths are, he looks like a really smart signing. He has the qualities to invert into midfield from left back thanks to how comfortable he is with the ball when he drives forward. But if Arteta wants to use Ben White as his inverted fullback on the right, then Calafiori can just move more centrally and make up three with Gabriel and William Saliba. Arsenal were so strong defensively last season, and you have to think the addition of the 22-year-old is only going to make them even better at the back. That's a pretty scary scenario for the rest of the Premier League. Arsenal transfer boost as a striker target prefers Premier League over another interested clubs. Arsenal reportedly look to have been handed a transfer boost as Ajax striker Brian Brobby could be on the move this summer and would be keen to play in the Premier League. Brobby is one name on Arsenal's list as Edin Ketia could be on his way out of the Emirates Stadium, Cout Offside understands, and it now seems like the Netherlands international is keen to play in England next, despite having interest from Roma as well. According to Sky Germany journalist Florian Plattenberg, Brian Brobby could leave Ajax this summer. The 22-year-old striker has received many inquiries, with Roma closely monitoring his situation. However, Brobby is keen on playing in the Premier League next season. His contract is valid until 2027, and his price valuation is estimated between 25 to 30 million euros. Brobby looks a fine young talent who could be a good fit for Arsenal and indeed numerous other top clubs, with the 22-year-old scoring 36 goals in all competitions in the last two seasons. One imagines Brobby will only continue to improve as he gets older and gains experience, while he'd also surely benefit from the superior teammates he'd have around him if he were to link up with the likes of Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, and Gabriel Martinelli in Mikel Arteta's side. Arsenal surely need a new striker next season, as Gabriel Jesus doesn't look the most reliable option in that department due to an underwhelming scoring record in his time at the Emirates Stadium, as well as numerous issues staying fit over a whole campaign. Kai Havertz showed some promise up front towards the end of last season, but it's not clear if that's really his best position for the long term, so someone like Brobby could be an ideal upgrade. The talented young Dutchman might not be as big a name as some of the others we've seen talked about over the last few months, like Victor Osimhen, Benjamin Sesko, and Victor Gyökeres, but one can easily imagine him doing an important job for this Arsenal side. Arsenal's strong transfer interest in La Liga star confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. Fabrizio Romano has suggested that the Mikel Merino to Arsenal transfer story could soon be one to watch closely, as he expects there could be some developments on the deal by the end of the week. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Romano summed up his current information on the Merino deal, saying that Arsenal's interest is strong, though they are currently focused on finalizing the Ricardo Calafiori signing. Arsenal have still not made a bid for Merino, who also has admirers in the form of Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, but it seems this remains one to watch in the days ahead. Merino shone for Real Sociedad in La Liga and the Champions League last season, while he also had an impressive Euro 2024 with Spain, even though he didn't always get that many opportunities off the bench. Given that the 28-year-old is out of contract next year, however, it's not too surprising that Arsenal and other clubs might see him as an exciting opportunity, as he will surely have the chance of leaving for below market value, as Sociedad won't want to risk losing him for free next summer. Scout Offside have also received some information on Merino's situation, with Manchester United also understood to be showing an interest, as per our sources, with a close understanding of the potential deal. Arsenal now intend to move forward with talks over Merino, as he is emerging as their top target for the defensive midfield role, with Mikel Arteta surely in need of an upgrade on the aging and injury-prone Thomas Partey in that area of his squad. It will be interesting to see if Arsenal can now move in for this potential signing ahead of other top clubs, but it seems there is cause for Gunners to be optimistic on this one. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.